Hello, I'm moviekidmikereviews. I'm back with a vengeance with my review of
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Alright, I'm back. Now, what big, epic, amazing, awesome summer movies did I miss? Okay then. Now let's get the ball rolling on this baby, shall we? This has always looked to me like one of the more interesting and entertaining movies of the summer. And I was on a teen tour for 3 weeks, and that means a lot of long bus rides. So I read the books. You want to see some proof? Magic, baby. Now, I didn't love the books, but I definitely thought they could be expanded on into a really good movie if they had the right crew of people behind it. This movie centers on a 23-year-old named Scott Pilgrim, who, long story short, breaks up with his 17-year-old girlfriend and finds in his dreams this mysterious, multi-hair-colored girl, and he meets her at a party, and they go out, and they get hanky-panky. Seems like an average normal relationship. The problem is, she has 7 evil ex-boyfriends who want to kick the living crap out of him. You may be wondering how this is any different from your experiences in a school parking lot. Well, this movie takes place in a world where video game logic is logic, where people can pull swords out of their hearts, vegans have psychic powers, and people can just somehow magically not react when a giant video game-style epic fight is going on in the background. This movie takes place in the true world of comic books. And I mean that in the best possible way. This kind of segues into... The best thing about this movie is the visual style. Edgar Wright, the director, he brought these books to life. He brings exact panels and pictures into the book, and from the book into the movie. And that's not even half of it. He puts comic book sound effects, those like little sound effect onomatopoeia words, into the movie. The whole movie has a very comic booky style look. Everything is very bizarre looking. And it's really hard to describe, but the best I can say for it is that it's really unlike anything you've ever seen. It's like... I know this is like comparing something bad, but it's like that old Batman show from the 60s, but on 11. Everything is vibrant and colorful and comic book-like, and the movie is just really cool to look at. And it never intrudes into the story. It's a natural part of the world, and after a while, you just sort of go with it. And the movie has a ton of references to video games, movies, and just like little sound effects that you'll get that will just really add to the experience. The cast, for the most part, was pretty good. But I did have a bit of a problem with Michael Cera, more or less because I read the books. In the books, I don't know, Scott is just a little more of a likable, animated type of guy, and Michael Cera is much more... He's much more versatile in this movie than he's been for the past few years, and he's pretty good in the film. He's just not exactly Scott Pilgrim. He did a good performance, he just never fully fit to me. But I think he did as good with the role as Michael Cera could have done. Where this movie really shines is the supporting cast. From the girl who plays Ramona, who's his girlfriend, who I can't remember. From all the evil ex-boyfriends, pretty much. Chris Evans and Brandon Routh especially are just fantastic, as Brandon Routh plays a vegan with psychic powers, and Chris Evans plays this like tough, like super macho movie star guy, and those two are just fantastic. Also, Jason Schwartzman's in there, and he does a really good job. And all the evil exes are just played fantastically. Each one brings just a little bit something new to the table. Also, for the majority of the fights in this movie are really cool. There's actually some nice choreography to the fights, and the video game style editing, like with the point systems and the little bleeps and bloops as these characters are going on, and just everything about it, the whole style of these fights is really new. It's unlike anything I've really ever seen in terms of just the way Edgar Wright integrates various video game-like elements into these fight scenes. It's really cool to watch. However, I didn't exactly love this movie. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't completely fall in love with it for a couple reasons. For the most part, in this movie, the humor was pretty good, and maybe this is because I read the books and I kind of knew the jokes were coming, and maybe it's because it was so close together, but some of the jokes fell a little flat, and they felt a little unnecessary. But it's not a big deal. Most of the dialogue outside of the fights is really good. It's just occasionally there'll be a scene where they're just obviously trying to be funny. Also, as well as Edgar Wright did direct this movie, I think he made a couple weird editing choices where the movie just kind of rushed from one scene to the next without any, like, transition. It was strange. Like, There's one instance where I even thought something was wrong with the film because it blacks out at this weird moment for like 5 seconds. There's just a couple little strange editing choices in here. Also, this is just kind of an experience I have whenever I watch something based on a book, but I can't help comparing things from the book to the movie in my mind. Like, as I said, Michael Cera's performance distracted me because he wasn't as animated as Scott Pilgrim, and just a lot of things they cut out I was really noticing. It felt a little rushed to me. I realized that a lot of the stuff they cut out of the books was filler, and it would have muddled the storyline, but I just couldn't help but be a tad distracted by it. But my biggest problem with this film is that I realized this is not a romantic love story. But I didn't really feel the chemistry between Scott and Ramona until the middle or the end of the movie. The beginning with their first date feels really rushed, and they kind of rush into the whole romance. There's nothing really to indicate that they're like falling for each other. They kind of just do. And I never really felt that they were really together until the middle of the movie. And even in the end, where I felt they were truly unified. But there was just never that beginning point where I said, wow, these two are really starting to go for each other. So it makes it a little hard to care when he's fighting all these evil exes. I know that's not the point of the movie. It's just, there could have been a little more to latch onto with the relationship. But overall, Scott Pilgrim is a fun, creative, fast-paced movie that I think you'll really enjoy, especially if you haven't read the books. I think you will go in and it'll be a complete surprise. You'll really, really enjoy it. I personally enjoyed it, but I thought they could have patched it up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and give this 3 stars out of 4. This is one of the better movies of the summer. I wouldn't say it's like in the top, I wouldn't say the top 3. It's like one of the better ones. And I enjoyed it. It muddled itself a little bit for me. But overall, it is a fun, solid movie.